All right. Let's see here. All right. And continuing our what's your relationship status, right? The wow factor. This is the wow factor. So I wrote a couple of notes here, right? I wrote a couple of notes, literally. All right. And just this is just so I wouldn't forget them. So blind spots create weak spots. All right. Blind spots create weak spots because when you have a blind spot, you don't have the access to necessarily address them. Number one is either because it's a blind spot, you can't see it, or you're in denial, right? So either you can't see your blind spot or you're in denial. But either way, it doesn't matter which one it is. When it comes to solution and being solution based, you can't address your blind spot because you don't have access to it, right? So I looked at something. I look at like wounds and blind spots and I try to discover them. I ask about them, I pray about them. And I was like, what's something I was dealing with? Because when you have these weak spots, when you have these blind spots, when you have these wounds, it'll block you from seeing something. It'll block you from being able to access something that you're going to need at some point because you need to become you need to become and do what you need to do to have what you need to have. So if you have these blind spots, you have these weaknesses, you have these wounds that you're not healing, it's going to block you at some point from receiving what it is that you want. Just type got it in the chat if you got that. Just type got it in the chat if you got that. Right? So one that was big for me that I realized I was there since a very, very young age, right? I could say it was out of my control, whatever the case may be. It wasn't a decision I made, but it was there nonetheless. It was rejection, right? Dealing with rejection and rejection issues. And I didn't realize it for years, right? I went to school, high school and middle school, high school. I was a cool guy, athlete, sports, class king, all of that stuff. College, cool guy, party guy, was the, life of the party, all that stuff. But I realized as an adult that I was suffering from rejection issues. And what that led me to was lack of boundaries. So I had no boundaries. So what I mean by that was I let whoever come around me and I would feel like it was my duty to prove that I was real or this is I am who I am. So I'm already being me, right? But somebody come around is like, oh, now I'm working hard to show them like, oh yeah, this is real. This is da 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 da. And that was it's draining, right? After a while, because here's what happens: you put a pressure. I'm putting pressure on myself, and I didn't raise the standards of those who are around me. So what that does is it attracts a lot of unequal yoked relationships because people get around you and be slacking and be feeling like they in the driver's seat, like their job is just to come around you and just receive. They just receive. They just, oh, what you got for me today? What you got for me today? And when that happens, you don't raise your standards. All right. So this type of one in the chat, you with me so far, right? So now what I had to learn how to do was set boundaries, right? You have to set boundaries. So I wrote this down. Now I set boundaries, and you have to decide what side. What I do, I'm not the staunch person that's just gonna write anybody off. I'm never gonna do that. I don't know how God is using me and who He wants to use me with in terms of being a vessel to help somebody. So I don't just write people off. But what I do is say, hey, I set these boundaries, and you decide which side of the boundary you belong on, right? Which side of the boundary you belong on, all right? So we talked about relationship status last week. So now this is personal, but this is also like this is something that's principle based, right? So I was able to relate from it from personal experience, but this is something that's principle based. So like we talked about last week, our relationship status impacts our results significantly more than we could ever fathom, and even more than we like to give it credit, all right? So what's our relationship status? You and I, what's our relationship status, right? Is it work or is it worry? Okay. That's something that every single person is going to have to come to terms with. Is it work or is it worry? Now, let me ask you this. Before we get into the heart of the presentation, type A in the chat if you would rather lend, type B in the chat if you would rather borrow. If you'd rather be the lender, type A. If you'd rather be the borrower, type B. If you'd rather be the lender, type A. If you'd rather be the borrower, type B. Which one? All right. A's with a clean sweep, right? Clean sweep for the A's. All right. Clean sweep for the A's. Not mad at y'all. All right. All right, we want to be lenders. Okay, I am not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. Let's see here. All right, let's see. So, all right, clean sweep. Wait, oh, never mind. Not a clean sweep. We have one. We have one B. We have one B. All the rest are A's. A's if you rather lend, B if you rather borrow. A for lender, B for borrow. All right. All right. So now check this out. All right. Worry can only wither. Here is the problem with worry. Worry, you can't now. If as a person who was low key forced to go all in on some things, at the time I felt like it was unfair. At the time I felt like coach was picking on me. At the time I felt like, man, I'm better than these dudes. I should be playing. But my coach noticed something in me, and he noticed I was able to blend in without going 100%. So I was able to keep up with the people who were going 100%, but I wasn't going 100%. I'm smoking weed. My lungs is black. I'm throwing parties. I'm selling pills. I'm selling weed. I'm doing all type of things I should be doing. I'm getting drinking tickets. I'm doing whatever. So I got myself in a doghouse where I literally had to work harder than I ever had to work just to be able to crack a rotation. And I'm talking about like back in college. At the time, I hated it because I went through this for a full year, a calendar year. No matter what I do, not impressed. If I did something right, oh, you could have did it righter. If I did something, if I made a play, but it wasn't to the T, it was up, up. Nah, why is he messing with me? Why is he picking on me? But that time proves to be one of the most transformational times of my life because I realized what it looked like to go all in and not get the results instantly. See, some people think that they're going to press this button and they're going to be motivated and they're going to do the work. And here's how you know you're not the person who's ready to receive what you think you're ready to receive. When you start doing the work, you put a time limit on it. Type of one in the chat. If you could be real and say, yep, I've been there before. I've been motivated. I've been ready to success. And I start putting dates on stuff. You put in more dates than you put in work. Type of one in the chat. You've been there, right? Yep. I'm hyped. By this time next month, by this time next year, I'm gonna have a. You ain't ready. You ain't ready, right? You're not ready. Right? What I learned was, there is no off switch anymore. I just have to be this person. Now they expect this version of me, and every time I show up to practice, this is what I have to do. If not, I'm back in the doghouse. If not, it's back to my family coming to the games, and I don't get in, and I'm sitting there, no piece of sweat on me. I'm in there at homecoming. All the girls know me from the parties and stuff, but I don't got a bead of sweat on me when they come to the games. Hey, what number are you? You going back to that guy? Sister traveling from whatever from Florida, coming to North Carolina to see me play. You going back to the nah. You going out to Golden Corral and you gotta take a shower after the game. You don't want to be that guy. So you gotta raise your standard. All right. So this is where worry come in. When you're a worrier, you cannot implement a solution because not with intentionality, right? That's the reason I went on that whole little spiel to talk about intentionality. You can't implement solutions with intentionality because you're too busy worried about what if it doesn't work. Type of one in the chat, you've been there before. You've been here, but you haven't been present. You haven't been present in mind. You're already thinking of a backdoor plan. You're already thinking of an escape plan. You're not allowing yourself to digest what it is that's being shared. You're worrying about what if it doesn't work, right? You'll mess around and miss out on all the opportunities. You see what I'm saying? Oh well, and in your mind, it sounds like you're making sense. It sounds logical, but we gonna get into all of that so that you never are tempted and persuaded to do that again, right? Where your zag when the play calls for zigging. Something in your mind said, "Hey, here's this thought out plan, but I need to think on top of this thought out plan." Right? Here, I'm gonna say it again. Here's this thought out plan, but I need to think on top of the thought out plan. So the play calls for you to zig, you zag because oh yep, I see this, but I feel like I should, right? So now here's the Warriors anthem, the delusion. I want to find a better way. So I went and did it my way, even though my way doesn't work. A warrior can look at their own decisions, see that they're not working, and still continue to do them because they're worried that if they try it somebody else's way, then that's not going to work. So it stops them from even implementing. You could be present, you're going to type one, you're going to say, oh, I get it now, and you're still going to do it your way. How do I know? Because we can say, get this information and ask questions right after you get the information, you get the information and implement it. So you zagged when the play called for zig. Get the information and communicate. Why? Because the people who communicate make the most money, right? You ever saw shift leaders? Type of one in the chat if you ever saw shift leaders interview, Amazon shift leader interview pop up anywhere. You ever see anybody interview a shift leader at Amazon? Type of one in chat, even if you aren't looking for it. You saw a Jeff Bezos article pop up. You saw Jeff. Jeff is on this podcast, or Jeff on Joe Rogan, or Jeff on da 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 da. Right? Here's the CEO of da da da. He came on da 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 da. Why? Because the people who communicate the most, right, are the ones who add the most value to an organization. If you have been trained to be a worker, you've been trained to be quiet. You've been trained to use your hands and your feet. You haven't been trained to use your voice. Type got it in the chat if you got that. So the warrior's delusion is that I'm going to take the thought process of somebody who's been trained to work, right? Somebody who's been trained to be the hands and the feet. And I don't have to use my voice in order to get the results of somebody who uses their voice. Warriors find a way to make their delusion work for them, but it only works for them in their mind. So they pacify bad decisions that they make that harm nobody but themselves. And they create storylines and plots in their head that make actually getting outside of their own thought process seem like the biggest thing in the world, right? When it's really not, right? It's really, really not. All right. So in reality, here's what the worry does. Because anybody can't stop you from worrying, right? Nobody stop you from worrying. Now we have to worry about you not following through. So now we got to look at you, give you the plan, tell you exactly how to move, how to do it, show you people who've had success doing it, who've implemented the plan over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And then we still got to worry about you not following through. And then we got to worry about you rationalizing. And then here's what happens next. Watch out. Do not associate yourself with worry. I'm saying right now, if you got worry in you, on you, or near you, back up because these next few slides are about to be. I'm bombing on worry. I'm not bombing on you. I'm bombing on worry. All right. Type of one in the chat if you got it. Separate yourself right now. Make the choice right now. Separate yourself from worry because it's going to get real offensive if worry your homeboy, if worry your homegirl, if worry is your inner voice, if worry is your gut, and you think it's intuition, you're going to feel offended. All right? So warriors question everyone else's way except their own. It's a self-absorption spirit, right? It engulfs you, it consumes you. But here's the deception. It appears like it's working for you, right? So you so engulfed in what you got going on that you question everything everybody else is doing. You will look right at your decisions, see they not working, and still continue to make them. Not only that, but you still will continue to rationalize them. Type of one in the chat if you've ever been there before. I know I have. Right? Type of one in the chat. You ever been there before? Over leveraging doesn't work. YouTube Roy said something back in 2022. You trying to use in 2025. It didn't work. You thought you saw something in the market, but it worked one time. It hasn't worked since. You still do it. It didn't work. We say, oh, we selling, we in phase 4, we selling, you looking for buys, right? Just doing the opposite. We say communicate, you don't communicate, you go ahead, duck off on your own and do it. We say lock in with the meetings, you don't lock in with the meetings, but you want the results as though you're locking in with the meetings. We say book a one-on-one, you don't book a one-on-one, you go ahead and pay top step your money, you get funded, but you never get paid out. Right? Type me in the chat if that's ever happened to you before. Anything that I just said, right? Go ahead. I'll lead off. Right? Right? So now What it's doing is it's engulfing you, right? It's engulfing you. It's self-sabotaging. It absorbs you. Every time you worry, you always bring it back to self. You always bring it back to self, right? Now, here it is right here. Worriers, right? Worries, right? We have a whole bunch of worries. Worriers have no grace because they've used it all for self. I told y'all, move your toes. They're infamous for talking grace, but not applying grace. What does that mean? It means that they've hit their own head against the wall that they've built so many times that they take fake accountability. So here's what fake accountability is. You know exactly where you messed up. You know exactly what you need to do to fix it, right? But you still do the same thing over and over. Now, you taught grace. If anybody asked you this question on a test, you would answer right. If anybody interrogated you on an interview, you would answer right. But if we got a chance to look at your heart posture, there's no grace inside of a worrier for anyone else except themselves, because you would hit your head against your own wall because you're the one who built it. And man, you would count it as resolve, right? But when it comes to, here's how you know there's no grace. When it comes to somebody else playing, they got to be perfect. You got to be convinced to run the play first of all, and then actually execute the play properly, right? And the minute that you see if it's not working on a time where you want it to work, you back to doing your thing that's proven not to work. Type me in the chat if you ever been there. So others have to be perfect around you. That's why you have problems communicating. I always know the people who worry because they have problems communicating because you're worrying about somebody judging you. I don't want to sound stupid, but I don't want to ask this question, but it's because you're using all your grace for yourself. So you go mess up in the dark, but then we take a signal, lose that one signal for the week. You go do your own thing. You lose 5 days worth of signals in a row. And you will lose day after day after day after day after day. Win one. That winning one will give you faith in your own self again, and lose day after day after account after account. Now you down several thousands. Now trading has turned into a bill instead of an asset. Anybody been there before? Type me in the chat. Right? There's no grace for anybody else. So here's the thing. We've been 9-1 over the past 2 weeks. 9-1 over the past 2 weeks. You know what the Warrior does? The Warrior competes with us on the first three signals. The one that we lose, the Warrior finally, in their head, it's a competition. The Warrior finally realized that their way ain't working. They take the signal that we take, they lose the signal that we lost, and then they go back to doing their own thing and they lose their own account. And in their mind, it's this big old cloud of just battle, confusion. They're being manipulated, they're being deceived. They don't know how to extract that nonsense, the author from confusion, out of their head and do what works. You expect perfection. So now, last week we went perfect. But how many people didn't go perfect last week? See, it's numbers tell the story. You see what I'm saying? The stats tell the story. That's why I love trading, because at the end of the day, the stats can tell the story. We have to be able to translate it into a language to make sure that we're the person that's able to work for, right? So if you're worrying, how is it? How, right? What? Tell me what you gain by worry, right? How much has been added to you because you worry? Let's do the math. You see what I'm saying? Let's do the math on it. It never adds up. All right. Warriors are runners. They run off of everything that others have deposited into them, right? And they cause you to worry because you wonder, if I was down and out, could I depend on you the same way you were able to depend on me? Can we depend on you the same way you're able to depend on us? When you didn't have it, and we still allowed you to bam bam get access to ABC XYZ or da da da. Can we depend on you the same way? So now it's just looking outside of it like, are you only here because it's what's up? What's up? It's hard to build around warriors, right? They're consumed. They get so consumed, and some people are so consumed with worry that they can't step out of their own shadow to help others because they'll worry about how somebody else's struggle impacts them. You ever seen somebody like that? Right? You ever seen somebody? Oh man, oh yeah. If I help him, then I'm gonna be. I got. If I help her, then I'm gonna be. Then I got. I got to make sure that type of one to chat. You ever seen somebody like that? Or you might have been that person before. You might be that person right now. So how can we want to lend? How can we be the lender if we're consumed with worry? We can't, right? We can't be the lender if we're consumed with worry. All right. So now, can we work with you? Right? That's the second part. Here's the work. The person who works understand. For who it works for understands that all work works. That means we can go over, we can have 15, 20 horrible strategies, right? Horrible strategies, and it still works. Why does it still works? Because shout out to Myron Golden for this. The work either works for you or it works on you. If we mess up 20 times in a row, that means we found out 20 ways on how to not do it. Every time that we get back up, that's real resolve. Because number one, we're not worrying about it because we keep going. Number two, we're being wise enough to analyze that that way didn't work and we're trying another way. You see what I'm saying? Number three, now we're all in it together. We're communicating. We're figuring it out, right? We're communicating and figuring it out. I never forget. This was back in 2023. I know Demetrius was there. I know who else was there. Trail might have. Yeah, Trail's a member for sure, right? But we had a meeting where we lost like 3, 4 trades in a row. We never met on Wednesdays back then. I called an emergency meeting on the Wednesdays. And we just like, hey, yo, let's figure this out. Let's figure this out. What we got going on? What is happening? Right? Because it's like, all right, I don't want to be bullheaded and just keep trying to do the same thing and it's not working. So what's going on? Because every time we lost a trade, I felt I'm talking about it was like a flush the other way. It did the exact opposite. So it was like, all right, what we got going on? And we all figured it out. We all talked, right? So it's no coincidence that 2 years later we see Demetrius doing what he's doing. He was there during that time. He's somebody we can work with. So it works for him, right? Those who you can work with, you win with. If I could lose with you, if we could put work in and really lose, then we could put work in and really win together. Type of win in chat if you got that. If every time a trade lose, you go on YouTube and you searching for the next thing, and you feel like because you put your eyes on it, now you go, mm-mm. Watch how the circumstances stay the same. If you jumpy from thing to thing, if you like, we building a car and the car don't crank on the first try, so you abandon all the work that's being done on this car, and then you go start trying to build another car from scratch. You gonna keep losing. Because what happens when that window works? Boom. Then you go keep losing. Now you're putting pressure on things to work on the first try because you haven't became a winner. A winner has resolve. If things work for you, you have resolve. Resolve means this didn't work. I can come back to the same thing. I can be objective about it. I don't have to be emotional about it. I'll sit back sometimes, y'all, and I'll meet with people who want to show me their strategies and talk about this and that and yada yada yada, who want exposure to the LYMG community, and I listen to them talk. And the main thing I'm listening to see is how attached are you to your formula? Are you trying to are you trying to brand a formula or are you doing what works? Right? You have some people who are just trying to brand a formula. So even when their formula is not working, they're trying to make it seem like it works. That's a deep-seated pride issue. If something's not working, I'm like, oh, hey, y'all, this ain't working. But guess what? We got what it takes to figure it out. You see what I'm saying? Somebody, hey, maybe I'm looking too close to something. Hey, what y'all see? It's going to forever work for you if you allow yourself to remain dynamic and flexible and not get caught up in whatever's going on. We had a great meeting last week. We had a great live session, right? And Kwame was convinced, hey man, I don't believe it's gonna pull back at this pivot. I think it's gonna drop down further than that. And we were about 15 ticks from hitting stop loss. And I was like, you know what? I had to make a decision. It's not me versus him. I get what he's saying because I've been in those same trades. We've been manipulated. What I was saying is, hey, bro, I think we caught this manipulation right here. I think we about to be on the other side of the manipulation. We about to get paid for the manipulation. But guess what? Had that trade stopped out and went all the way down, I was already prepared to be like, bro, you're right. Without an ounce of pride. I was not going to be in contention with him and go, hey, no, no, no. See, because on this one, so here's what I'm saying, and get to defending. There's no need for it, right? I need to be dynamic, and it's about winning. Not winning my way because I was the one who called the trade. It's about winning. You get what I'm saying? Type of one in chat if you got that. And if we're able to win together, right? If I'm able to work with you, here's how this is some real stuff. I'm about to say some real stuff, some real person stuff, if you get my drift, right? If I'm able to contribute to you and help you win, and then I'm wrong one time, and you go in your mind, all right, well, I was right, he was wrong. So now I'm about to go over here and do my own thing. You a clown, you a fraud, you flaw. You gonna end up you gonna end up lowering your own ceiling because you could look at somebody who contributed 10 to you. You finally win one, and instead of you going, hey, here's this one I got to contribute, you go take it for your own. And there's no communication. So somewhere down the road, because you're violating principles, hey, I saw something that bro didn't see. Hey, I saw something that sis didn't see. Hey, I saw something that da 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 didn't see. So, hey, let me share this with them because I saw this work for me. Boom, let me communicate and share this with them, and we all win. That's how it really goes. That's why people in our culture don't communicate. We're so scared about putting something out there and being wrong, right? And then somebody like, oh, well, all this money actually made. She hit me up last week or maybe the week before. She's making a crap ton of money. She said, "Hey, I want to put this in a chat, but I'm nervous for, da da da." And the fact that she was nervous of how people would respond, it says more so about the state of our culture because everybody sits back and plays their hands so close. You'll sit back and lose like piss in private, right? You sit back, lose like piss in private and not communicate, but we got to make it open. That's why I say it's always a safe space, right? Let's go ahead and talk. Let's communicate. Let's share, especially if you're having success. Let's see what's going on and get it to where, hey, if you miss, okay, cool. We all took that risk and we in here together. That's the type of vibe that I want to create in LYMG because I know it'll always work for those who do that. There were people who had to get up out of here. I could feel it. You trying to see where there's a chink in the armor. You trying to see, oh, well, I'm waiting for this didn't work, but let me show you what I did. And this worked. Okay, bet. So now somebody start following you and you don't win every trade. Some of y'all get hit with the okie doke, right? And what happens is this is a real life thing. It's not me making it up. It's called monkey mind. You jump from thing to thing. You jump from opportunity to opportunity. And you realize it doesn't work. The person who spends their time working on the same car all day, all night, figuring it out, tweaking, optimizing, getting that done, and perfecting it is going to be better than the person who went and looked at this person, and you finesse yourself into believing that your attention is the goal. Your attention is the blessing, not the results. Who is worth me paying attention to, right? That's the person who spends more time worrying than actually putting in work. But because you're doing something in the field that's related, because you're looking at a trading video, you looked at 14 different strategies. I have people who hit me up, hey, what account should I set up? Hey, what trading app should I use? I'm not telling you, bro. Either you're locking in or you're not. I'm not gonna give you a piece of the puzzle and then you come over here trying to pick a little piece of it. Makes no sense to do that. Either you lock in or not. Are you somebody we gotta worry about, or are you somebody we can work with? Right? I salute Demetrius. Why? Because we'll lose a trade and he'll go, I ain't no worry. I'm gonna get that right back. I know we're gonna get it right back. Type of one in chat you ever heard him say that. And dang it, every time we get it right back. We get it right back. Do we get it right back, Demetrius? I ain't worried, I get it right. Some will lose a trade and be like, man, send me a screenshot. Man, I lost, bro. Okay, man. All right. Literally, what do you want me to do with that? What can I do with that information? I lost too. Only thing we can say is, hey, and in this space, we got to have the resolve to not lose. We got to make sure that we got to break all type of crap that's happened to us when it comes to our relationship with money. and realize we're not clocking in. We're making money clock in for us. You get what I'm saying? Type of money check, you got that. So it's things that we're going to have to break in terms of our mindset, right? It's relationships with money that we're going to have to break. We have to become a person. Not only can we work together, but money, we make money go to work for us. We start everybody off with futures. Why? Because you're not losing this real money in real life. It's going to be a virtual account. It's going to be a, hey, all you did was really risk $50 for real, for real. So it says minus 400, minus 300, minus whatever, but in reality, you're just putting up 50. And if you run this play correctly, you optimize the play, you got a chance to make thousands upon thousands upon thousands. You can run this thing up to seven figures, eight, whatever it is. You can run it however far you want to, but run this play right here. And we're showing you time and time again that it works. But are you a person that works? All right. When you're a person that works, here's what work is. Not just doing stuff. Oh, I went and studied. I went and watched the video. I went and da 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 da. If you watching a video on phase two when we in phase four, you're not really locked in how you need to be locked in. You see what I'm saying? We in the fourth quarter and the game is tied. You moving as though it's the start of the second quarter. It's totally different. It's a different level of intentionality. People want you want credit for just doing stuff. It ain't about just doing stuff when you start getting to this standard, right? It's about doing the right thing in the right time. Type of one in the chat if you get what I'm saying, right? If you hitting the gas when you need to be hitting the brakes, you in the wrong. You see what I'm saying? If pedestrians crossing the street and you gassing it, talking about, well, I'm driving, you told me to drive more, you in the wrong. You see what I'm saying? There's no more devil's advocate with things that don't work. All right. So here's what work is. Work is setting sight on a common goal and locking in on the game plan. Not being present for the game plan and then going ahead and doing your own thing. Can't work with people who do that. The problem I had in the past, like I said, I always tried to make it work for people who do that. And you know what? People who continuously do that, they will quit on you before it actually start working. I tried and it just wasn't for me. They'll quit on you. And then you'll realize, because it's happened before, you'll realize, oh, why was I spending time with that person? This person really had me over here trying to be performative, like we in Hunger Games and they the judge, and I'm over here fight. Get out of here! What are you doing? Why am I wasting time? Like you would be under a whole spell trying to move somebody who think like that, and then they trying trucking dispatching in 2 weeks. They trying trucking dispatch. Like what the fuck? How you go from trading to trucking dispatch over the course of because you saw the money involved? What? So now you about to disrespect that industry because you're gonna have to become somebody who you're currently not to get anything to work for you. Anything. Mothers will go to drop shipping. Mothers will go to whatever. And it's like, it's money and all that. Medical courier. It's money there. But who are you? Who are you? And shout out to Kareem. I was talking to Kareem and I said, bro, we deal so much with risk management, analyzing, communicating. If you mess around and become a good trader in LYMG, you could take the skill set and take it across multiple areas. You can take it across multiple industries because you know how to manage risk. You know that if you got $50,000 and it's an investment for 50K to not put the whole 50 in. You know about risk management because we deal with it every day. You know what market manipulation looks like. It's so much that you're able to do that this can translate across several different realms. There's a guy on Instagram and it's crazy, true story. He's popping now. He was one of our original LYMG members. I don't know. You might follow him. His name is Coach Brian Get Your Fine. He's from Louisiana. You can hear the accent. Uh, that's our guy Brian, right? Brian joined LYMG. This is when we had trading plus marketing, right? We show you trading and then also how my cousin Dave would show you how to blow up your social media. So he would be on every Mindset Sunday meeting. We would be locking in and he would always be sending me messages. Yo, bro, the stuff you saying is changing my life. It's revolutionary. Yo, bro, this, that. And I'm looking like, what is he saying? Because he's not making a ton of money in trading with this. And I thought he was just flattering, blowing smoke. So I go and he like, yeah, bro, you helped me make, y'all helped me make, y'all boys helped me make $20,000 this month. And I'm like, is bro just lying? Just to like, I'm not seeing it. I'm like, is he just lying? Yeah, bro, I'm over it, man. Y'all, you don't, I can't tell you how much y'all motivated me. So this was back in like 2021, 2022. 2025, I see somebody come across my timeline and I'm like, hey, why bro look familiar? And I see we got several LYMG members who follow him too. That's the funny part, right? Several LYMG members who follow him. Dang, a lot, right? So he come across my timeline and I see somebody 374,000. He got his site set up. He got his shop set up. He does like he sells like different type of like pills, capsules, like holistic wellness. He got 374,000 followers, and I see a ton of, and I'm like, oh, he wasn't lying. He was talking about the mindset. So he went and took what we were saying, made some money in trading, then also applied it to his business, and it helped him boom. It helped him really start booming. So I was like, oh, okay, that's somebody we can work with, right? We locked in, we set our sight on a common goal, and we locked in on the game plan. He took the principles of that same game plan, not only made some money in trading, but made a crap ton more money in the thing that it is that he does. All right. And guess what? If it's somebody who we can work with, then if the game plan needs tweaking, we work. We never worry. If we got to tweak something, we just gonna tweak it. We never worry about it. All right. Type got it in the chat if you got that. That gotta be stressed. You don't go, man. I tried to buy in phase 3, but I got stopped out. So I'm about to go do something totally different. I'm about to go ahead and, you see what I'm saying? I'm about to go off the rails. I'm about to go missing again. I'm about to get inconsistent. I'm about to go wander in the abyss of YouTube, right? You go, okay, I did this. Where was the mistake at? Did the market just get us? Did it just get us on this one? Or because you might have just put your stop loss too tight. We might have put our stop loss too tight. And then price drops some more and boom, then shoots up higher than ever before. But instead of you looking for a reentry point, now you're thinking about sales, right? Right? We can't do that, right? We got to be flexible. We got to be dynamic in what we do. All right. So here's how to work with flex. Now, the same, remember we told y'all before, we went 9-1 the past 2 weeks. The Warrior is going to look at that, compete with the first 3 signals, realize their way isn't working, take the next signal with us, lose. That's the one loss that we had in 2 weeks, and then go back to doing it their way, or just go to not being consistent at all. That's how the Warrior moves. Here's how the person who works for it moves. We go 9-1 the past 2 weeks, right? They're going to use the past victories, these past 2 weeks, as fuel, as proof that we have what we need in order to figure it out if we do lose. Type of one in the chat if you got that. That's huge. We have the resolve, we have the team, we have the strategy, we have the schedule, we have the faith to figure it out if we do lose. Right? It's not a pressure on, oh man, I'm so close. I hope I get funded. Oh man, da, 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 da. Warriors set a low, low ceiling. And I tell you right now, out of love, some of you have a super low ceiling, right? And life has done some things for you to have a super low ceiling. For some of you, the ceiling is getting funded. Type of one in the chat if you feel like, yep, I put a lot of energy into getting funded. Type of one in the chat. Like, let's be real. If your ceiling is getting funded, then guess what? What happens about the payout part? What happens about the consistency part? What happens about the leaving a job part? You know what I'm saying? What happens about that? What do we do? What do we do with that information? Right? Now there's going to be anxiety of getting to your first 5 days on getting funded. All right. Now you put so much emphasis on getting funded that okay, we got to actually follow through now that we funded. All right. So the person who it works for is going to use these past 2 weeks as fuel. You're going to pull the Demetrius. If we lose, you're going to say, I know we're going to get it right back. Not because we're impervious to mistakes, but because you know the character is in place to look and analyze from an objective standpoint to see what's going on. Are there any changes that need to be made? Right? The Warriors use the past as a compass to try to navigate, or they just get discouraged, right? So when we talk about use the past as a compass to try to navigate, the Warrior tries to get back to where they fell from. So now, where your previous high point was becomes your new aim. Is that an uptrend? Yay or nay? Right? If the price just wants to get back, let's talk charts. If price was up here before, or bam, and it drops down, and it just wants to get back to up here, is that an uptrend? Yes or no? Is that an uptrend? No, it's not an uptrend. It's consolidation. But see, bam, that's how worry tricks you. Because when you get back up to where you were, you feel like you achieved something. You didn't plan on going any further, right? You didn't plan. Oh, I was this close to getting funded. Oh, I can't wait to get back there. Now, no, 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 no. That's why we always say the funding is the beginning. The work starts when you get the payout. Where do you put your money at once you get your payout? Do you put that money to work for you, or are you putting yourself in a position where you're going to have to stay at work? That's the type of one in chap y'all get the difference, right? An uptrend looks like this. An uptrend don't care about how high it was before because it doesn't use that as a compass to get where it wants to go. An uptrend is going to use that previous ceiling as the new floor. See what I'm saying? And that's going to be a pivot point. Like the Bulls do their best work when they get to the previous high and they turn it into a floor, right? They do their best work then because now price is about to go through the roof, right? Worry has you encased. Worry has you in a cocoon for a lot of people. You got to do the work to bust out of that. But then once you're done busting out of the cocoon, there's more work that goes into it. You got to learn how to make it work for you. You understand what I'm saying? So this is not just a thing for you to be like, yeah, I know, I got to do better. I know. It's not that. This is not one of those. This is one of those things where it's saying, stop because you're choosing something that doesn't add anything, any value to you or anybody who rocks with you enough to have you around. It doesn't add value to you. You don't want to pass worry down to your children. You don't want to be the person who really worries deep down, but inside you faking like it's all cool. Right? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The results are going to show. Now, if we were playing around, I would be all giddy. I would be in here doing all type of stuff because I could just focus on the people who was working for it. But because God has given me the heart posture to truly care, I can sense the worry because your worry shows up in the lack of follow through. Your worry shows up, and this is what we talked about, and then you went and did this. You went and did that. We talked about that, and you did this. We talk about this, then you go do that. It's worry, right? And that ain't gonna get you nowhere. You see what I'm saying? Type of one in the chat if you got that. This is the realest thing I can say. The realest thing I can say. And I hope you hear my heart posture on it. Like for everybody who's impacted or who the worry is affecting, I hope you hear it. Right? It's like stop. Just relax. We in this thing together. I told somebody, if you're the first person to do something, I get it. Right? The second person to do something, okay. The second person, when they see it work for the first person, they should have a they should have a little pep in their step. The third person, when they see it work for the first and second, should be Gucci. The fourth person, like I said, like we talk about faith plus works. How do you think somebody like Princess was able to come in April and by October, by May, she had a 5-figure payout? is because she's not a worrier. She saw that it worked and she saw it work for Kirk. But that's like somebody told me, that don't count. I don't never look at it working for me as counting. Told you, OG told me, I'm gonna assume it works for you. It better work for you if you're the one doing it. Can you transfer to other people? She saw it work for Marlo. Boom. Then she saw it work for Ashley. Boom. She saw it working for several other people that we sent her. So, right? So she goes, okay, this works. All I gotta do is follow the play and then add, and then just add my effort, my works to it. I got the faith. I see it works. Bam. Now she comes in not having to get as many scars to get to a 5-figure payout. It took me years to get a 5-figure month in this field with trading. It took me years. And that was the first time I had ever seen 5 figures. Right? Since then, they come more frequently now. Thank God for that. It comes more frequently. But it took me years. She came in off the rip and got it. Then not only got it for her, went and got it for her husband. Now, worry would trick you out of position and say, oh, Princess, she's so smart. It's because she must be, she might have been. Look. And y'all know, look, let's be real. Let's be real. Let's talk about it. You know, man, Africans, they come over here, they be ready. They be smart. The Africans be smart. They be, that's what they do. That school stuff is what they do. So it's different because, they culture just, it be worry to have you trying to figure out why it can't be you. Worry will tell you you are so special that this thing that's working is not gonna work for you. Type of one in the chat, you ever been there. Like you ever been submerged in that. You ever been just submerged in that feeling like right? So like worry to have you create alternate realities and have you rejecting reality in real time. Right? Like we have to, in order for us to be able to work with you, you have to be consistent. You have to communicate. You have to get the information and communicate it right back. You can't get the information, store it, do your own thing. Anybody, I saw somebody just, we said something, somebody did the opposite, posted it in the VIP chat. I deleted the piss out of it because if you just went and did your own thing after we just talked about it, why do we need to see it? Because anything that's sent by the enemy, a spirit that's sent by the enemy, always wants attention. And we could be so deep, lost in the sauce, we don't even realize that. You ever know somebody who worried who want attention? They never just worried in private. They got to bring it to the forefront. Type one in the chat. You ever know somebody like that? Hey, I just called you to let you know. You trying to get me worried? Why don't you just? Why couldn't you just? Hey, I was just calling her. You go against the grain, publicize you going against the grain, and be like, man, this ain't working for me. We just said we buying. You just chose to sell. Why? Why? Even if we're wrong, and price goes the way that you thought it was gonna go, let's do the math. How much time do you spend on this? Right? Let's extrapolate it out. Let's look at the stats. Right? So, in order for it to work for you, you have to allow people to work for you. This is a big one. How many of you all got an older relative that you can't do nothing for? They'll do anything in the world for you, but you can't do nothing for them. Type me in the chat. They'll give you the shirt. But the minute you try to bless them, the minute you try to help them with something, oh no, I don't need nothing. But you do. You was just talking about your back hurt. I went and bought you a massage. You don't want the massage. You was just talking about, oh, the Lord gonna provide. Boom, I came through and help you with this. Bam, but you ain't want that. Right? A lot of these people raised us. So we become the person who is the worker, not the person that things work for. When you work, and you're not the person who things work for, you are indeed a work. You are a worrier. You understand what I'm saying? Because here's how it works. Demetrius, I'm thinking to myself, how could I help Demetrius? How could I help him and his family? How could I help him, get to this point that he want to get to? Everybody on this call at some point has told me the amount of money that you want to make per month, right? How can we help them, right? So now I'm doing my best. I'm getting resources. I'm collecting data. I'm fasting. I'm praying. I'm doing this, that, and the third. I'm going out, reaching out to people. I'm taking courses, yada, yada, yada. I help Demetrius. I get the play, bring it back to Demetrius. He doesn't apply it. He isn't the person who people are able to work for, who things are able to work for, right? So people who do that, they go in the lab, they try to figure out on their own. It doesn't work for them, right? And then they disappear. But the whole time, while they go and take that same spirit to another industry, they still gonna have to face it at some point. They still gonna have to look at that mirror at some point and be like, oh, something inside of me is the reason that this isn't working, right? Shout out to Marlo. People hit Marlo up all throughout, and a lot of those people, thank God, I prayed in there. But people were hitting Marlo, hey bro, what is that? How you doing? And would be, hey, I'm just taking the signals, or I'm just da 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 da. But they looking like, oh no, it got to be another way, man, because I'm leveraging the team. You see what I'm saying? Oh no, you can't be, man, because I'm da da da. What are you doing? Who sent you? You worker of iniquity? Who sent you? Why do you think this makes sense? You see what I'm saying? Why do you think this makes sense? And have a serious face. Hey, bro, hey, no, but no, I get it, but man, but what do you do? And to be serious instead of becoming the person who it can work for. This man, instead of looking at it like this man is on a route right now, delivering newspaper, and he on this call. I didn't get on the call because my homeboy told me there might be a chance that he got a mission set up and the girl's coming at 7:30. I didn't get on the call because I wanted to hit this blunt. I didn't get on the call because I wanted to make sure I fixed me a chili cheese dog before my team play. I didn't get on the call because my lady pissed me off and I can't focus. I didn't get on the call because my sneaky link don't want to make me his girlfriend. So here I am posting SWV and talking about what I deserve on my story and making sense of it. And making sense of it. You see what I'm saying? People be real life making sense of things that don't work and try to make it work. And I didn't get because I just gotta be like, so now what do we do from here? All right. We gotta get that worrying excuse. We gotta get that spirit off of you. It doesn't help you. It doesn't have anything to you. I promise you. I promise you. It's don't have a funeral for it. Kick it. It ain't your friend. It has not been comforting you. It has been holding you back. Look at how, and here's what I'm gonna encourage you. Look at how far you got in spite of having worried attached to you. What happens when you let it go and truly put the work in? What happens, not only that, but what happens when you work with people who work with you? That's called abundance. We got a president in the office right now, regardless of how you feel about him, regardless of how I feel about him. He in the office right now, he's declared bankruptcy 6 times on his businesses. After the first time of going bankrupt, the banks didn't worry about it. They loaned him more money. Second time, the banks didn't worry about him. They loaned him more money. Third time, fourth time, fifth time, to the point where he said, you know what? I'm going to become president. And all the money that I lost, y'all, I'm going to make it back. I'm going to tweet something, and y'all going to be the first ones who know. But see, nobody thinks of it from that standpoint. Y'all going to be the first ones who know. And y'all going to make trillions. Hey, you might have messed around and lost billions rocking with me on this and that, but y'all about to make trillions back. When he bought the head of Charles Schwab and J.P. Morgan and all them, he was like, "How much you made today? 2.2 billion. How much you made today? 1.9. How much you made today?" They didn't worry, right? They saw something in him go, "Hey, he gonna get yeah, he gonna be good for this somehow, some way. He gonna be good for it." Guarantee you, everybody he ever got a loan from now made whole times 50 trillion. Nobody ever thinks about it from that standpoint though, because our mindset, we down here, we trying to get to 100K. Why? Because Leroy, the 25-year-old influencer, got you feeling like you old and washed because he flexing the money, and then you go listen to the mature influencer. He around your age, but he flexing, not really motivating. So if you can't take your woman out of town 14 times a year, brother, every time she's stressed, you gonna listen to the influencer who like, yeah, every time it's my woman's cycle, send her on vacation. I say you and your girls take off work, go to the Maldives, and just figure it out. Everything on me. I give her 10,000. Take a week off, and so now you sit over there looking like, dang, I gotta right. We got so much toxic stuff in our ear that we don't work to just build a network. We don't build ourselves into the person that others can work with and we make it work together. We got a man in the office who showed time after time after time after time after time it didn't work. But the people who lend still gave to him, and I guarantee they got it all back and plus some, right? We try to be the anomaly in our culture. We want to be the person who shoot like Steph Curry, but you didn't get in the gym like Steph Curry. You just feel like you anointed and you could shoot like that. What happens if you use your anointing and you put the work in? See what I'm saying? Right? You see what I'm saying? So now here's the summary. Lenders have resolved. Everybody in the beginning said they want to be a lender. Lenders have resolved. Imagine if a bank stopped handing out loans because of one default. If the bank noticed that customers were defaulting consistently on loans, they'd switch their client base before closing down. You understand that? They would just say, hey, you're not able to get a loan before closing down. It's the same thing with a strategy, right? If it works for us, rather than saying if it's not working, we rather than saying, this strategy, I'm about to just quit. We'll mess around, get rid of the strategy before we quit. Type of one in chat, you get what I'm saying? That's a big one. That's a big one. All right. So now, guess what? Because some of y'all been here long enough. We had CRC, we had FRC, we had supply and demand, we had ceilings and floors, we had order blocks. We had ceilings and floors, we had double tops, double bottoms, plus order blocks. You couldn't tell me we were not about to be quadrillionaires in a year. Then guess what happened? COVID. The market just switched the answers. I'm talking, we would get in at y'all. It was a time to be had. It was a time to be had. We would get in at a high on the 1 hour. Oh, that mug got an order block on it. Flush. We would get in at a low on an hour. That mug got an order block. Flush. Everybody just having a grand time. Then when the market starts switching, okay, now we gotta have some more. All right, that's not working as frequently. Now it's about character. Okay, every time it can't be okay. So the only thing you have to do is nope, we got to be more flexible than that. We got to be more dynamic. We got to use some other things, right? We got to go deeper in the bag. The seed is in me. The seed is in me. I got to let the seed germinate to go and learn some other things. I got to go ask some questions. I got to go take some courses. I got to go watch how the whales think. I spent several years in trading trying to use branded formulas instead of just seeing how the whales think. But guess what? More knowledge wouldn't help with that, but wisdom did, TJ. Wisdom did. See, that's the difference between wisdom and knowledge. Knowledge tells me you can know, you can name a bunch of stuff. Wisdom tells me you know where to look. I could tell you what RSI is, EMA is, this and that is, da 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 da. But if I don't know that the whales are putting in the majority of the money, none of that matters. I'm going to be looking for some squiggly lines to change colors, TJ. Instead of looking to seeing where are the whales buying, where are they selling? Where do they get in the market? How long do they stay in? Where do they take profit at? Where do they enter at? When I focus all my time and energy there, then boom, I can adjust no matter what the market does. Type of one in the chat if you got that. And that's where we're at now, right? That's where we're at now. So remember, like I said, if a bank knows that customers are defaulting consistently on loans, they switch their client base before closing down because lending is who you are. So it's a part of what you do. It comes naturally. When something works for you, you're a person who makes it work. Trading works for me. I'm a person who makes it work. Some of y'all, I just want you to take that edge of even your actions. Your actions got worry on it. So let me tell you what that's like. You walk in the ball, you got a fresh suit on. You got the most beautiful dress, but you got fart spray on it. So people knows go turn up when you walk by. Because although you there, you dancing, you having a good time, you doing a two-step, you stepping in the name of you doing all of that. It's like it's a stench on you worrying. Let me open that purse. Let me see what you sprayed on. Oh, you ain't that's fart spray. That ain't no, you thought that was logic. You thought it was the smart thing. You thought it was you started construction on a house, you abandoned that house, and then you went and started construction on another house. You didn't realize how foolish that was, because if you did at the time, you wouldn't have done that. You would have stayed building the same house that you started on. You would understand why you was building that first house that you started on. New technology came out to make it easier. But when we jump from thing to thing, now we start at the beginning of each new thing that we jump to. Type of one in chat if you got that. That's what keeps me from just jumping into stuff. That's what keeps me from abandoning things that I start. See what I'm saying? Because then we'll mess around and finesse ourselves to going, okay, it's up to Kirk to keep me entertained and see if I'm gonna come back next week. No, let life continue to life. You see what I'm saying? Let life continue to life. Your circumstances are still gonna be your circumstances. Your bills are gonna still be your bills. When are you gonna make the jump from intelligence to wisdom? Not just knowing how to define what you're looking at, but knowing where to look at, how to save your time and buy it back, how to get your time back because you know how to use it wisely. Type got it in the chat if you got that. That's the realest thing I can say to every single person on this call. Stop with the monkey mind, jumping from thing to thing. Stick with it. That's why we stick to two charts. M and Q go. They're paying. I don't care what another chart is doing. MES if you like it, if you like M and Q moves, but you want to go a little slower. I don't care what another chart is doing. I don't care what crypto is doing. I don't care what Demetrius. Can somebody come and entice you on crypto right now? If you just made 100,000 in the past 2 months, 2.5 months, can somebody go tell you, hey, put 20,000 in crypto and you gonna be rich tomorrow? That don't sound like it doesn't sound as appetizing when you really follow through on stuff. Like when you really follow through, it's like I don't care about that. I'm gonna get rich regardless, and I'm gonna be able to keep it because I'm gonna know how I got it. You see what I'm saying? That oh God, I hope that resonated. I'm gonna be able to keep it because I know how I got it. If I mess around and just get some just because off of timing and I don't know how I got it, I'm gonna think everything I'm supposed to go into gonna be that way. Hello, y'all get what I'm saying? Type of one in the chat if you get that. You don't know how none works. You just like okay, yep, I made this off of crypto, so boom, I'm gonna take what I made off crypto. I'm gonna put that in real estate because the housing market is booming. But where you at got a sewage leak, foundation crack. So all that investment at the time that you put in, all that goes into fixing that sewage. Now nobody wants to rent there. Nobody wants to build there for another 4 years. So now life is, you know what I'm saying? But when you're a person who takes time to research, who takes time to follow through, who takes time. Like, I can't talk to anybody if you haven't taken an L in the field. In some whatever you're doing, if you haven't taken an L, it doesn't matter. Marlo played football, right? Shout out Kwame, he played football. Somebody could look like the best thing since sliced bread. But if they get tackled for the first time and they come up wincing, what's your thought process on them? No durability. We gotta hope he don't get touched. We gotta hope. We gotta hope in a contact game he don't get touched. Right. So in life, where life be life and things be happening, circumstances be happening, we gotta hope that it just looks different for you and that nothing happens so that you can stay focused. We gotta hope that we win every single trade so that you can keep showing up. We gotta hope that even if we win every single trade, then we gotta win it long enough for you to get over yourself. So we can't just have 2 weeks of good. That 2 weeks can't have paid the next 4 months of bills for you, right? Shout out to Joe. Took clean advantage of the past 2 weeks. 17 bands made in the past 2 weeks. Before that, Joe was taking $800 payouts. $800 payouts, right? Locked in 17 bands the past 2 weeks, right? Think about what that does. Oh, that gives me, even if the markets don't show out this week, next week, rent or mortgage paid 1, 2, 3 weeks. I mean, 3 months, maybe. You see what I'm saying? Car payment taken care of. If you got a car payment, this and that taken care of. It buys him time to make the best moves. Type of winning chat, you get what I'm saying? You don't take advantage of those 2 weeks. Now you trying to do what? Play catch up. Well, all you got to do is run the play and stick with the play. Stick with it and know the people that you have around. We're going to adjust if we need to adjust. TJ, have I not come to you and asked you questions before, bro? Like in real life. that because why? I know as a leader, I study leaders, kings. I say I never want to be King Saul. I never want to be King Nebuchadnezzar. Right? If you know their story, pride got to him, ego got to him, arrogance got to him. Can't nobody tell him nothing got to him. I stay asking, and hey, what you see here? Ivan was an intern. Ivan started boom. I said, Ivan, what you see? He was like, I should be asking you what you see. I said, no, I want to know what you see. Tell me what you see. You see what I'm saying? You have to do that. Why? Because I'm just respecting the principles. I'm also communicating. If I'm always the one saying the answer or giving answers to the test, I'm eventually going to become my own ceiling. And I never want that. Type of one in chat if you got that. So to me, getting funded ain't even nowhere near close to a ceiling. Getting payout ain't nowhere near close to a ceiling. It ain't that's not even a thing. I want more money in my personal futures account than Top Step or anybody's able to even offer. I want more money in my long-term account than any payout that I can get into from. You see what I'm saying? That's not a ceiling, Zamar. So allow yourself to think bigger. Allow yourself to be part of a team that wins, because a team that wins is a team that works, and a team that works is a team that works on the same game plan, speaks the same language, and you have the faith that if we need to make an adjustment, we make an adjustment. You don't just show up, and because you show up, but you doing something extra or you doing something opposite, and then your results don't show. So when it's like, oh yeah, you should be funded by now, right? No, I'm not. Why are you not? Oh well, because now we got to do what? Can we work with you or we got to worry about you? Which categories you falling in? Which one? Which one? Is that somebody we could work with or somebody we got to worry about? Somebody we got to do it. Worry about. We got to worry about that person. We got to worry about if you took the signal. We got to worry about if you went off the rails. We got to worry about if you didn't manage your risk properly. We got to worry about are you really about to go and buy your 10th account before you book a one-on-one? We got to worry about if you're convinced that that style works when the evidence is saying it doesn't. We got to worry about it. Or we just go, can't do the worry, got to cut that person off. All right. So now, warriors make great borrowers. Why? Because they put themselves in position to borrow because they thrive in survival mode. Worry, when you allow the spirit of worry to engulf you, it thrives while you're in survival mode. Type a one in the chat if you got it. That's very, that's the thing. When the spirit of worry consumes you, it thrives with you in survival mode. When the warrior refuses to break out of survival mode, they will always be in position to borrow. You don't know what it's like to have extra, so anything extra you give it right back. You made money, but you didn't know when to close out the trade because you couldn't look at it like this is 400 extra, this is 300 extra, this is 250 extra. And because you had no plan for the thriving, then bam, you're right back in survival mode. That's ever happened to anybody? You've been up big on a trade, boom, you let it drop all the way back down. They ain't get into the negative. You watched this, you slow rolled it. You watched it like lava. You watched the lava pour right on your dang on leg. Right? And you didn't move. You're like, no. But guess what? If you allow that thing to stay attached to you, you will always be in position to borrow. Right? You will always be in position to borrow. All right. So now, who's choosing to work? Type work in the chat if you choosing to work. Worry in the chat if you're choosing to worry. Let's see where you at. Where you at? Let's get 30 answers in here. I'm choosing to work. I don't know about y'all. I'm gonna be somebody who put the work in. I'm gonna be somebody you can work with. That's my declaration. Be somebody you can grow with. I ain't never being on no, oh, I know it all, or I know too much. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I don't care from 95. What's up? If it's a more efficient way, we own it. That's what I'm on. All right. That's what I'm on. That's what I'm gonna forever be on. All right. You go somebody who's gonna be consistent, or you putting your head, peeking your head in. Right. You're gonna be consistent. Let's put the work in. Right. Let's put the work in. Let's be wise in real time. Right. It's foolish. This straight from the man himself. This straight from the Lord himself. He said it's foolish to start construction on the house without counting the costs. Right. But that's what we do all the time. Don't count the costs. Yeah, it's gonna be some trades you lose. It might be a funded you lose. It might be, it might be, it might be a month you lose. It might be a week you lose. We haven't had a losing month, and I don't know. We thank God we haven't had losing weeks like that. But let's say it might. Let's say it is though. Let's prepare for it. Let's just prepare for it, just in case it is. But guess what? What if the losing month was in exchange for a winning decade? But you got discouraged at the losing month. While people went on in the next decade to make enough money not only to finance their life, but to start financing their kids' life. Eric Thomas said one of the dopest things to me, and this is now how I think about money. I look at it as a tool. I look at it as a sport. I don't worship it. I don't care enough about it to go ahead and do like nothing crazy about it, right? I don't put too much emphasis on it. If I got more money than you and you ain't got it, I'm looking to help you. I ain't looking to shine on you. I ain't looking to flex on you, right? I'm not going to, you need help? What's up? How can I help? Right? So now he said, oh, I'm good. Oh, my wife is good. My kids are good. I'm working on my grandkids. Now, when he said that, I said, oh, that's it. That's something I can relate to when it comes to money. Wife, good. Kids, good. I'm working on the generation that ain't gonna be grown till after I'm good. So guess what? Even if my kids poop the bed, poop the entire bed, right? Between them, my grandkids, and the next generation, somebody gonna pick up the mantle and put in enough work for all the others around them because the kids are already taken care of, and now the grandkids gonna be taken care of, right? So when I heard that, I said, that's what I like right there. That's gonna be my thought process of how I deal with money. So what it did was it expanded, it rose my ceiling. How much money do you have in your long term? How much money are you able to keep in your long term? Now, how much money did you get on this payout? Not if you're able to leave a job. How much money are you able to leave and just let the stocks build? Man, how much money can you sit in QQQ and just let it build? How much money can you sit in a hedge fund and just let it roll? How many properties can you get? Smart, smart buys. Not just saying I'm in real estate, saying I'm smart, right? How can you diversify well and put things here, put things there, put things back? Can you put money into your daughter's account every week? She's only 4 right now. What does that look like being consistent when she's 8, when she's 18, when she's 28? Where's she going to be when she's 25? That way you can raise her and focus on her character instead of what she needs to say on an interview to get a job, who she needs to code switch to be to get a job. You can focus and you can raise her on her character, not just her career. Type of one in chat if you got that. Puts things in a lot of different perspectives. And not from a pressure standpoint because you're being so proactive on it. But when you worry, you too zoomed into the now. You too zoomed in. Things got to happen for you right now, or else you're not going to be engaged. And the world does not, success does not work like that. God does not work like that. Christ walking around, that's like saying, hey, do a miracle for me on demand so I could believe in you. What happened every single time somebody moved like that in the Bible? He go, hold on. Alakazam, all right, now you believe me? Even when he did, they be like, no, you the king of demons. That's why you did that. No, you. They did everything but the work on themselves, right? They look everywhere else for the answer except within and saying, "Oh, I'm the one that needs to change." So let's get it. Let's continue to put the work in as we let's continue to communicate. LYMG Rookie Boot Camp is officially a week away from starting. We'll be live on next Monday. So vets, y'all are welcome to come in. New members, I can't wait. I'm excited to work with y'all because this is about to be the most optimized LYMG Rookie Boot Camp that we've had to date. We have several case studies of what worked. Shout out to Marlo, one of the OGs, the OG of the LYMG Rookie Boot Camp. I'm talking about the first one that we did, and we saw it took about a year and a half for him to get right, right? Then shout out to Princess who came to the one in the spring. It took her a couple months to get right. Shout out to Ashley, came in the spring, a couple months to get right. So now this go around for the people who took their leap of faith, I dare you to lock in and be consistent. Let's see what happens. Just show up and work. Don't put no timetables on anything. Look at your decision making outside the charts. Look at where you used to go off on people or be volatile. Be more patient. Look at how you thinking in traffic. Look at how, hey, why am I antsy while I'm waiting on this game to load? Where I'm watching this 15-second ad. If I can't sit through a 15-second ad, how am I gonna wait for that candle to get to the LOL? How am I gonna wait for the RSI to get to oversold? Think like for real. Just let the work on you and then watch what happens. All right. So let's get it this week. Government shutdown still happening. We ain't got no news. We've been thriving without it. Um, Let's lock in. If you want the phases, highlight me so that you can be hip to what the price action phases are, so that you can get that information, so that you can have the lingo that we speaking in, and you can rock out with us. All right. Any questions or comments before we roll out? All right. Let's see here. I'm just looking at QQQ. I mean, not at QQQ. NQ. Oh yeah. Yep. Price is popping up. Phase three, like we talked about. Let's see what it does overnight. Gold and NQ are going up. That means somebody's doing what? Somebody's lying. So we're gonna see who. Yeah, we go live every Thursday. We go live every Thursday, Doc. We go live every Thursday. Tuesdays we do VIP. Um, Mondays we do. Oh, excuse me. Sundays we do Mindset Sunday. All right, and then be on the lookout for. We might do another live this week. All right, everybody. Kiana, both charts are in phase three. No, gold is in phase four. But yeah, gold is in phase four. MNQ is in phase three. So Kiana, look at the phases, see what we look at. That'll simplify. Shout out to Kiana for just locking in with the mentorship. That'll simplify your approach as well. All right. Everybody, let's get it. Salute to everybody who got paid out last week. I really want to, I believe by the year out, we'll get to a month. I truly believe by a year out, we'll get to a month where we have over a quarter million in payouts. I believe that. A quarter million in payouts is 25 people making at least 10K in payouts. Type of one in the chat if you want to be part of that. I believe that. Quarter million is also 50 people taking $5,000, making a $5,000 payout. I believe that's happening. Quarter milli, and happening in rhythm, no pressure. But I believe that could happen. All right. So let's get it. Risk manage. Manage your risk this week. Just type risk in the chat if you're making a vow to manage your risk. That means the same account you started trading on, you're going to end with this week, no matter what. That's all. That's all. The same account that you have this week, you're going to have no matter what. No worry in the background going, man, yeah. No getting tricked out of position. Manage. I don't care if you love to trade. Manage your risk. I'm going to type risk with you. Right? All right, everybody, have a blessed night. I love you all. Let's get it. Let's have a prosperous week. Let's ask some questions. Let's get that clarity. And let's rock out, y'all. Peace. Peace.